What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for Wednesday, the hump day, October 25th, 2023. Bringing it to you. Let me adjust this camera just slightly. How's that? Better. Oh, got to get the right background going here. Amateur. What is this? Amateur hour. A little tweakage here. A little tweakage there. Much better. All right. What's up, How's everybody doing? Have you heard of sign stealing in college football? It's all the rage these days. Apparently, Michigan and Jim Harbaugh love, and I mean really love, sign stealing. Like they can't get enough of it. So that's what we're talking about today on the show. Please, I pinned a question to the top of the chat if you're watching on YouTube Live. What penalty should Harbaugh and Michigan receive? Maybe separate penalties like Harbaugh suspension, Michigan reduced scholarships, a heavy fine. We're going to get into all that, but I want your feedback. Help me out a little bit. And obviously, we're taking your calls. Phone number is in the description below. Hey, while you're there looking at the description, hit that thumbs up button for me. I'd appreciate that. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And also, what else should we do? Oh, calls. Yeah, the number is also scrolling above my head. So taking calls, feel free to pop in here and we'll get a few of you through. So give me your penalties. What would you do? Burn the big house to the ground. That's kind of where I'm starting. That's like step one for me. I say fry them all, but that's a little aggressive, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Also, I do need to show you something rad. Get yourself one of these Jim Harbaugh cheater shirts. You can get them on the site. I'll drop the link in the chat and you'll see it around. People are wearing them already. So check it out. The cheater, pumpkin eater, perfect time of year for that. So Harbaugh, the cheater, get yourself one of these. On sale now. Still have the site-wide sale going, so check that out. Here is the link directly to it if you are so interested. Check it out. All right, so I'm going to run through. I'll give you some updates here on what we're looking at. I know not everybody's on the same page. I've been listening to like every show I can think of to get the latest info, reading all these ESPN articles. I haven't spent this much time on ESPN in like freaking a decade. Yeah, and I remember why now. Anyway, so the latest from ESPN, Connor Stalions, the staffer, low-level recruiting staffer who just happened to be photographed and videotaped whispering in the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator's ears during plays of Michigan games. Guy that makes $55K a year suddenly has the ear of the coordinators in game, every game. So the latest is he bought tickets to what do we have here? 35 games at 17 stadiums around the country. All right, that's confirmed. He used it. I wouldn't call it a network. He has three dudes. He used three dudes at least. They were forwarded the tickets for these games. So he would buy them, forward the ticket on to whoever is going to go shoot the game, with their phone. Then on Tuesday, a source told ESPN that the NCAA has been sent at least an hour of video evidence that shows a person sitting in a seat appearing to video the home sideline with a smartphone. Stalions purchased the ticket for that seat, so the video is expected to be used as part of the investigation, of course, to show that electronics were used in the sign stealing, investigation. So now, again, it's a rule. If we don't have rules, then what the hell are we even doing? So I see a lot of people, even Buckeye fans, I've seen them say, who cares? Everybody does it. No. Nobody does this buys tickets for 35 games over the last 2 or 3 years at 17 stadiums around the entire country and has dudes recording it with their phones. That nobody does that. So you're wrong. And again, it's a freaking rule. They're breaking the rules. All right. Now, how important, how much was gained by Michigan breaking the rules? Who's to say? I can't say. You can't say either. But I do want to point out that the Big Ten can go ahead and move forward with penalties before the NCAA investigation is even complete or started. It doesn't look like it's hardly started. But according to another report from ESPN's Pete Thamel, Mark Schlabach, and Adam Rittenberg on Tuesday, the Big Ten doesn't actually need to wait until the NCAA investigation is complete if they want to impose a penalty. The NCAA, they probably won't conclude their investigation until sometime in 2024. Yeah, there's no way they're getting that done before the end of the season. But from the Big Ten's sportsmanship policy, the commissioner, obviously the new guy, Tony Petitti, hey, Petitti, what up? Go crack these Wolverine skulls. Petitti has the exclusive authority to determine whether offensive actions have occurred and to impose discipline for the member institutions. The conference has 2 disciplinary categories. First one is limited to fines no larger than $10K and a suspension of 2 games. The second category, though, is more severe penalties and requires approval from an executive committee made up of the different schools, representatives from each school. So you got to go through a little bit of a voting process if you're going to impose big time sanctions from the Big Ten point of view, but it is doable. I want to point that out. That, and then you also have the College Football Playoff Committee. Will they do anything? I doubt it. They want eyeballs on their games. So I'd be shocked if the playoff committee does anything to threaten Michigan whatsoever, like leave them out of their rankings or something crazy. So the NCAA, obviously, their investigations are going to move slowly. The Kansas basketball, infractions, remember that investigation? Took like freaking 6 years, and they never even were found guilty of anything. So, or punished. So the issue with Harbaugh is, regardless of what he knows about the in-person scouting, back in January of this year, the NCAA tightened its rules regarding the responsibility of a head coach for what goes on inside his program. The head coach is presumed to have knowledge of what is occurring in his program and therefore be responsible for the actions of his staff and individuals associated with the program. So basically saying a coach can't claim ignorance, even for a low-level recruiting staffer. It's his responsibility to know everything they're doing. So whether Harbaugh knew about it or not, he will have to prove otherwise. He will have the presumption from the NCAA point of view is that Harbaugh knew of rule breaking and he would need to prove that he didn't. So it's up to him. It's basically, you're guilty. Now prove to us that you're not. So the penalties I'm thinking of, I was kind of joking about burning the big house, just slightly joking. Please don't let anybody go do that. We got a Sean calling in. Yep. Sean's calling in. All right. 1 second. We're going to get to my penalties and your penalties, and we're all going to have fun. Let me get Sean on here. I always have to put in my headphones too. Second here. Audio. Got it. All right. All right, Sean. Sean on a car phone in Detroit. I can't hear you. Are you there? I don't see your audio. Oh, you're connecting to the audio. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. What's that?
Are you there?
I'm here. You hear me?
I think I got you.
All right.
A little quiet. Hold on. Okay,
I'll raise my voice.
that's good. All right. I was just I went through the latest updates on the story. Obviously, I'm sure you're pretty much up to date. And I was going to start getting into my penalties, my ideas for their penalties. Do you have anything you want to add before we get into that?
I don't know what y'all went through. I'm sure probably the Psychos manifesto and all that stuff. And it's more teams, more things.
Yeah.
It's the one team that they didn't scout was TCU, and I mean just
Yeah.
a lot of coinciding stuff.
Right.
In regards to this whole thing, things that make you go, and it really the one thing that I wanted to bring up that I haven't heard anybody bring up yet is, what do the players think about this? So
Yeah.
I'm sure right now it's kind of, circle the tent, free Harbaugh type of mentality. But
Yeah.
if these, college athletes, D1 athletes, these guys sacrifice a lot, and they have to follow the rules. They have to follow the rules that they're not doing this or that. They're not talking to agents. They're not taking certain steroids or enhancing things. And they've got to follow all those rules. And they're, and they have to do that. And then they go on to put together, two of the best Michigan seasons, in a long, long time.
Mhm.
And then their coaches cheat and screw them. They're trying to do everything right and put together this team. And, I know right now, I feel like there's the wagons are circling around Ann Arbor and everybody's in the camp. But at some point when more of this comes out, and depending on what the penalties are, do some players feel betrayed at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Then you have to also ask the question, how much do the players know, if anything? I mean, wouldn't
I
you?
wouldn't think they would know.
Okay. Well, I guess I would wonder why my coach has a laminated big white card of like little cartoon gestures of people on it while he's on the sideline, you know.
Well, they don't know. I mean, 19-year-old kids, they're like, oh yeah, they might think every school has that. And hey, we kind of know these are their old signals or whatever. But
I'm not saying they're involved. I just wonder, if they wonder, how do we get this stuff like ever? Maybe they don't question it.
I don't think they would know, because there's too many of them, and that shit would have got out a long time ago. I think that's just something that's in the background. And
yeah. So we talked about the 35 games that Stallions bought tickets for. I don't know if that's gone up in the last 24 hours. I haven't seen anything else, but 17 stadiums he's bought tickets to. We didn't really touch on the manifesto. I don't know if I want to crack into that or not, but he was texting his friends, his buddies, bragging about how he's friends with Partridge. Was he the linebacker coach? And then Gaddis and
Jay Harbaugh.
And Jay Harbaugh, yeah. So
I also thought I saw a verified Venmo transaction between Jay Harbaugh and Stallions.
Yeah, I think I heard about that too. Yeah.
Did he buy him lunch, or what was that money for?
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, when we start talking about finances, how is this all getting paid for? Because this dude only made $55K a year. There's no way he's buying that many tickets to that many games, paying for lodging for the person, all this, refreshments, dinners, whatever. There's no way that dude could afford that. Flights.
Well, it was brought up on a show today. I think that, and I don't know if I'm sure that's available or that's what they're trying to find out. I think that will be a big factor in determining this. If it's a booster, that's bad. If it's just Stallions and it's the lone wolf, and the guy's independently wealthy and he's doing this on his own to make a name for himself, that's one thing. If it's a booster, it's another thing. If it's if he's turning in expense reports, it's a different thing. So to me, it's a big deal. Where is this money coming from? Because you're right.
Exactly.
He had two seats, that were for Ohio State, Penn State. I gotta imagine those are $1,000 seats. Where he was trying to have them on both sides at the 45-yard line or so.
Yeah, they were always not cheap tickets either, So, yeah. So what else? I think that's the latest stuff. The Big Ten, I mentioned that the Big Ten can move forward with penalties before the NCAA even starts their investigation or concludes it. So that's not out of the ordinary. I mean, we don't see it very often, but it is actually in their handbook or whatever. So Petiti can move forward with severe penalties. He just has to get approval from an executive committee made up of representatives from different schools in the Big Ten. So you're gonna have to vote on that. But shit, you can do that on a Zoom call anytime you want.
Have you seen the other stuff going involved in this? And some people are putting angle in here, that does gambling have anything to do with this, moving lines and things like that? And did Vegas know and whatnot on some of this stuff?
I don't think Vegas,
but you saw what they did against the spread. I don't know if you saw that stat. Pre-stallions and post-stallions doing this stuff. It's night and day difference.
Right. I mean, just going by watching the last 2 years of them, they've crushed most, mediocre teams they go against. So I'm not surprised that they're really strong against the spread. But then I've also heard that some sports books are pulling all the Michigan games off their boards going forward. So who knows if they'll put them back on or whatever. I would say seems like it's a little late for that, but so what do you think for penalty, Sean? I'm going to get into the chat here in a second and check out what they think, but where are you at as far as penalties go, assuming everything is true that we've read? ESPN seems pretty well sourced from the Pete Thamel article and the other guys kicking in their 2 cents, but reducing scholarships, I mean, that punishes future Michigan teams, the players. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Just trying to get in.
Oh, I see that. Jeff's coming in. It's a lively topic when Jeff and Sean are popping in. Jeff's connecting. So yeah, again, vacating wins, that's stupid. That never should be an option ever again.
I don't know. I mean, we got
postseason ban.
Wins we have vacated wins for things that aren't even a strategic advantage.
I think it's stupid.
I think that is stupid because it wasn't cheating on the field. It was doing some recruiting or whatever violations that are against whatever those rules were at the time. But that's not cheating on the field.
Right. Vacating wins does nothing for me. Like taking down, Sugar Bowl banners or whatever. We saw the games. They actually happened. So that doesn't.
I know, but if they happened under circumstances where they knew what we were running illegally, I mean, would it have happened that way? Just because it did, would it have? The Buckeye season wouldn't have changed anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to me, this is different. This is more crucial. I don't know how they're gonna weigh in on it. I actually one thing I heard brought up today is it's not just the Big Ten or the NCAA that can punish them. Someone also said the CFP. What if they leave them out? Say, hey, Michigan, we don't trust the body of work.
Yeah. You got basically 3 different groups that could punish Michigan. You got the NCAA, which that's not going to happen until next year, at least. Then you got the Big Ten, and then you got the CFP committee. Jeff, what are you doing? Are you there?
Hey, I'm in. How you doing, brother?
Good. You got to you up to date on this story for the most part?
Yeah, and I want to thank Sean for sending Valenti's audio from yesterday's morning, the 97.1 show in Detroit. I did listen to that as well this morning. You're talking about the three different entities that could weigh judgment on Michigan here. You're right,
we're trying
Joe.
to focus on penalties and stuff, because I think about the 35 games that they bought tickets for at 17 stadiums. He used a network of at least 3 people to attend the games. Right.
Yeah. The evidence is mounting.
Right. And there is a video that has been sent to the NCAA that video evidence shows a person in that seat purchased by Stallions shooting at least an hour of video of the home sidelines with his phone. So
I think our most
proves
likely
the electronics part, because that's an important rule when we're talking about the rules and what's been broken. Using electronics is a key piece of that. Yeah,
I think the most likely punishment would come from the Big Ten. I'm not sure the CFP. They're talking about trying to get the best 4 teams in as far as this year, and Michigan has clearly shown to be one of them 4. I think the most likely punishment would come from the Big Ten, because it's mostly garnered around or focused on those Big Ten schools. The multiple schools have reported their evidence of what they know about it to the Big Ten. So, and I think that would be the quickest to react, would be the Big Ten conference.
He has violated us, the Big Ten, the most.
Yeah, and I would say what their most damning punishment would be ineligible for a conference championship game.
That's the first big swing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's what really would affect this season in particular. Vacating wins and all that. Then none of that does anything. From the past, none of that helps us with this season. And I say helps us, meaning gives us an answer. So, you could see the Big Ten be the first to weigh their punishment, and their only punishment that would matter to anybody would be ineligible for a conference championship game, which, regardless of then what would happen, that plays that's the biggest factor as far as the CFP then looking at. Well, they weren't able to play for a conference championship game in comparison to other schools that could have.
Right. Go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead. I lost my train of thought there.
Okay. I was going to say, in addition to the Big Ten striking the first blow, I would also say they could suspend the head coach and the coordinators. No practices, no games. Oh, that's loud. All game planning, practices, all that is going to have to be managed by the remaining staff. So maybe Stallions got his promotion without even knowing it. I'm just kidding.
I think I'll disagree with you guys on. I actually prefer like retro punishing teams and doing the wins or taking wins away or something, and probably something maybe this year. But I hate when it goes on past that, because you're only punishing the kids and the people that weren't involved with it. Of course Stallions needs to be punished, and how deep and who knew with that. Probably others in that program need to be punished too, I'm guessing. But I hate when it drags on, and the kids that reaped all the benefits, they're in the NFL and they're making millions of dollars while your program's circling the toilet because shit that they did. It's and it's not even those kids. Again, I don't think kids had anything to do with any of this. It was all management. And kind of like they said, if you don't know, well, then you're incompetent, because it's your job to know.
Yeah, and that's one of the new NCAA guidelines they tightened up back in January, that there is no longer the ability for a coach to say he didn't know. That's you're going to get the same penalty if you say you didn't know. We got a caller. Let's bring in PC coming in to join the crowd. We got a hefty room here. Got a 4-way going. PC, what's up, man?
Joe, you there?
Yeah, got Jeff and Sean with me too.
Hey guys, hey, good to talk to you guys.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, so this is a big freaking deal. Um, Kind of explains a lot how they went from, you know, kind of middle of the road, maybe upper middle of the road to all of a sudden Big Ten champs, freaking playoffs, all that crap. So yeah, this is a big freaking deal. This isn't some bull crap NIL scandal, hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever the hell.
Right.
Like
I
this is
agree, PC. This is a different deal than all that other stuff. This is the integrity of the game, and this is big
yeah,
time.
this stuff that impacted games on the field, like the outcome of games. You're talking,
Directly. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard it a couple times, a couple different places, but yeah, Vegas is pissed off about it. Like yeah, I don't know, the CFP people, like this whole thing this is a huge deal. And honestly, I watching watch some of the video that I guess that news channel in Columbus they had on,
Mhm.
kind of made my blood boil a little bit. Our guys, I guess it was CJ, the first drive of game last year. They they paused it. They went back and checked the sideline for the signs,
Yeah.
and the assholes
Yeah,
on the
on
other
the
side
on
were
the on
watching
the
too.
first drive. Yeah, you wouldn't have that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and
there's no
then
way to. Yeah.
he gets a sign, he goes back in, and then everybody over there on the other side just friggin' pointing to the sky and jumping, hollering, sons of bitches.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. They are sons of bitches. So what kind of penalty are you leaning toward? You want to burn down the big house, or what do you do?
the biggest penalty would be to go up there and in November and just stomp a mud hole in their ass. Honestly, change your damn signs, just embarrass their ass on the field. Um,
Yeah.
no, I don't know. I'm vacating wins. I'm kind of with you, Joe. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, like, okay, great, fantastic. They're farther away from the 1,000 wins than they thought that they were going to be. Because they were making a big deal about that. Oh, we're coming up on 1,000 wins.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like, um, that's not going to do anything. People for sure need to be fired. Yeah, for sure, Harbaugh is going to bounce after this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it anymore. Um, I, Somebody mentioned in there, I'm not sure who it was looking back, but somebody mentioned maybe bowl ban. That might be worth it, but I mean that would have to happen pretty quick, and
Yeah.
NCAA doesn't. Well, so it's kind of weird. So NCAA and college football playoff people, like, they're not the same people. So
Right. And the Big Ten too. You got three different agencies here.
right.
So the
So I
Big
mean,
Ten, like Jeff said, the Big Ten could implement a championship game ban for the conference.
mhm.
They could do that immediately almost.
I think that
Yeah.
might be the most immediate punishment.
That does
Possible.
them a favor, in my opinion.
But the CFP could also, I mean, they could still think after, even without that ban, we're one of the four best. They're one of the four best teams. We want them in, but if it comes down to Florida State, who's one loss ACC champ maybe, or the Big 12 champ, Pac-12 champ, looking at similar records, they might say, well, they played for a conference title. These guys weren't eligible for a conference title. That can sway a vote or two, maybe. I think that's the most immediate punishment that's possible amongst the three entities, like I said, that could
Yeah, but
weigh some kind of punishment.
I'm not sure that keeps them out of the playoffs, though. I mean,
I think it
Well,
also.
it
they go
depends on how the
12 and
season.
0,
Well, it
12 and
depends on
0.
how the rest of the season shapes out too.
Right.
Um,
Assume that they go undefeated, beat us in Ann Arbor, but they don't get to play in the Big Ten championship game. Then we'll probably just get two Big Ten teams in the playoffs. I don't know how you keep them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I was just saying as a possibility if it comes down to looking at teams. one plays in a championship game versus another that doesn't. Very slim, like you said, but I don't think there's much other punishment this year that can be implemented.
Yeah, like PC said, firing the coaches. I would say at minimum suspending them.
Yeah, that show cause penalty or whatever the hell they say, and then if Harbaugh is
Right.
like, well, I'm going to leave anyways. But yeah, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, yeah, could use their 1 year, 2 year suspensions, which would inevitably mean they're going to get let go of their contracts. So
what they need to do is give amnesty to somebody who's willing to give up the goat on this, because this sounds like it's pretty widespread, and it's not just this one jackass and 2 or 3 of his cronies. Like there's somebody that had to store the information and then present it to the coaches, and I'm not convinced that those laminated sheets on the sideline were that. I don't think that's what that was. I think the guy was standing next to the offensive and defensive coordinators because he was telling them. And you know what? I mean, yeah, okay, maybe he didn't tell them, hey, they're going to run a skinny post or an out route or whatever. But if he knew that it was going to be a pass or a run, like even that is a huge advantage. It's not just it's not just, oh, well, they're gonna. Well, he couldn't have possibly known that Ohio State was going to run a corner blitz or cover 2 or whatever on defense. Like it.
Well, and it's such bullshit. Like what Dion is saying. Well, you still got to stop it. No, Dion, guess what?
No, it's
if I know a sweep's coming, yeah, we're gonna stop it. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. You still do got to stop it. And yeah, you know what? Sometimes people fall down when they're in single high and they get cooked by a receiver. Whatever, stuff does happen. You still do have to stop it. But damn, if you know that's coming, you can prepare for that. I mean, I don't know.
Every little bit helps. I mean, that's why these coaches stay up to all hours of the night, burning tape, burning through tape, trying to find that edge,
And he's got the ear of the OC and DC. I mean,
right.
I've never seen a guy that has that kind of pull of the game.
He works in the recruiting department, allegedly.
Yeah.
Come on. Recruiting guys are not on the sidelines next to OCs and DCs during a game.
No. In their ears.
Yeah. No, Mark Pantoni's on the sidelines for Buckeye games. He doesn't have a headset or sheets. He's just there on the sideline, hanging out.
Sounds a little bit like these cultural attaches that we have in our embassies that are not necessarily cultural attaches. You know what I'm talking about? So,
yeah.
Here, so a couple more things, and I'll let you guys have at it. But yeah, this makes my blood boil, man. Our OPSEC, what in the hell? Operation Security. Well, like what the hell? Are we not changing our signs? Frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, I played baseball in high school. I wasn't a football guy, and I know that college football is significantly more complex than, ball strike, steal, or whatever the hell in baseball. But goddamn, man, change that shit often. I mean, whatever you got to do, you cannot go. It shouldn't be the same from one game to the next. Shit, you could change them at halftime. I know they got these wristbands, and okay, if that works, whatever. But goddamn, man.
Well, to me, a lot of times it might not even be the sign that the sign of the play that's going on. For instance, say that you've got a defense called out there, and it's you can do a couple things out of this defense, and your outside linebacker looks over and someone makes a call for him to blitz on that play. And the other team sees it like, all right, we're going to hit this guy. We know this guy's blitzing in. It's going to be open over here. I mean, just little shit like that where it probably doesn't get changed on the regular as much. It's kind of like, hey, this is just a little quick thing to a linebacker. And if you can catch it and pick up on it through tape, again, we don't know the extent of this. More stuff keeps coming out every day. Like you said, PC, this could keep snowballing. I mean, every day it seems there's more stadiums, more people involved.
Yeah, I agree, Sean. This is a big
It is.
deal, guys.
It is difficult to change signals, like especially mid-season. That would be virtually impossible for an offense, especially maybe defense. Like Jeff, what do you think? Changing signals middle of the season be easier for a defense or an offense?
Probably easier for a defense because you're changing like a coverage, or you're changing who's blitzing where. You're not changing a fundamental play of an offense. You know what I mean? Whereas more people need to know, like if you're sending a signal to the defense, hey, out of this formation, we just saw their signal of running 2 posts. Well, then you telling the defense, hey, we're changing to cover 3 instead of cover 2. We're dropping 3 guys, 3/3.
It's relatively simpler.
You're like, okay, we're dropping 3. Then now like corner's dropping off, and there's 2 safeties rolling, to take up the other 2/3. It's a lot more simple than you're changing, hey, out of this trips formation, instead of the route combination to the left, we're gonna run off tackle to the right. That's you changing. All 11 people are changing exactly what the whole everything.
Or stretch into the boundary.
Yeah, that famous Mayan stretch.
The fan favorite.
Right. So I would say I would say you can just by an alignment or a signal you catch from the offense, the opposing offense.
Okay.
Your defense can change a certain guy, or hey, this guy's going to crack back on you. You need to blitz, because there's a crackback's coming on you. Attack before he can beat him to the spot, like a Kate Stover, twins, where Stover's got to get that perimeter block. If that's coming, you knife in tighter on a blitz to disrupt the player or something like that.
PC, you got anything else?
Hey, you guys remember? I think from the game last year, there was that fake punt that wasn't.
Right.
Do you remember hearing something about Harbaugh said that they had that covered anyway? Like even though it didn't happen, like they were ready for that.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that quote, but
he kind of covering
I'll go with it.
Yeah. I'm following you, PC. I'm following you.
Yeah. So just maybe that's
it's
all.
Crazy because every little thing like that, they lost to TCU. Now everything that's happened over the last 2 years, I'm like, I wonder if and how can you not?
Yeah, no, these guys didn't go from mediocre to Big Ten champs and from night to day.
They have upgraded their talent though a lot. I will give them that. I mean, they got some serious dudes on that team, and the thing is that they would be a really good team. It's would they have been what they were. Is kind of where I'm at on it.
Well, the last thing, and I'll let you guys go, is I kind of feel bad for the fans. Kind of. The players though, yeah, somebody brought it up earlier. Yeah, that's kind of a thing, right? Like basically, you remember a few years ago when someone said, "Hey, you didn't build that; somebody else made that happen." Well, kind of feels like that for those players, like, oh, it's these guys are winning all these games because of the stealing signs. It's not because they're talent or they're any good or whatever.
Well, yeah, and no matter what,
away from them.
No matter what becomes of it, there's always going to be an asterisk next to this season. Whether they vacate the wins, give them to them, whatever, it's always going to be, well, Michigan was great that year. Well, but
yeah. Well, anyway, good talking to you guys, and I'm sure we'll hear more about this for the days and weeks and months to come. So
exactly,
you got to go up there and stomp that mud hole, guys.
Yep, that'll take the law into our own hands. I like that.
That's right. All right, guys.
All
Later.
Right, take care, PC. All right, we appreciate PC popping in. Hey, folks, while you're in the chat, don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate it. Climbing, getting more views in here, but only 8 likes. Let me run through the chat here, see what's going on. I want to see really what people think a proper penalty is. Ryan Day's Beard is in here. He says vacated wins, suspensions, or firings. Big Ten needs to step in and not let them play in the Big Ten title game, no matter what. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Ohio State. It's about integrity. There you go. I think that's what we said. He also said a Harbaugh suspension would have to happen now. Dude is going to skate after this year, and someone else is going to be left holding his bag. Yeah. Travis Shuttlesworth, what's up, Travis? Good to see you. He says nothing short of a life sentence in Guantanamo Bay. Seems fair. What's up, Billy? Good to see Billy. Ryan Day's Beard says a punishment would have to come from the Big Ten. Yeah, a punishment from the NCAA right now would result in Michigan being able to appeal for 90 days. That's a good point. Yeah, you got to go through the appeal process after that, of course. Travis says certainly the Big Ten and NCAA won't allow this coaching staff to coach in the conference championship or any bowl game, right? I hope they step in and do what's right. Odysseus, your shirt's on the way, man. Be on the lookout. Odysseus says vacate all wins last 2+ seasons and a 2-year bowl ban going forward. Okay.
Yes. I mean, guys, sorry, Joe. Sorry to interrupt.
No. I got one that you guys might want to chime in on. If this was Ohio State, Ryan Day would have already been suspended.
Ooh, no, because would not have already been suspended. But I would assume that our university and Gene Smith would have, stepped up, admitted to wrongdoing, and hoped for a lesser penalty. I could definitely have seen that. They got us. We got, let's come forward. This is it. But there's no guilty verdict has been levied yet. There's just allegations of violations. Nothing's been, the NCAA hasn't come out and said, we have found through our investigation, this is so, this happened. They're found guilty of this, and this. That hasn't happened yet. So no suspension would have happened yet because, and of course, like you said, anything the NCAA says, because they have no teeth, you can just appeal it and push it off, probably to the end of the season.
Definitely. Yeah. This is not getting resolved from the NCAA side of things till next year, at least. So
no, and nobody should expect them to, because like catching Kansas's basketball coach on an FBI wiretap.
Right.
They still gave him the national title. The NCAA president presented him the national title trophy,
and that was a
year.
6-year investigation.
Right. So what does the NCAA and UNC? They said, okay, NCAA, you find we're guilty of something. So what? And then they just went about what they were doing, and nothing ever happened. So nobody should be counting on the NCAA to have any teeth in this fight at all. Right. It has to be from the CFP and the Big Ten, because the only two people that really matter in college football, the conference and the playoff system.
I think most people in the chat are saying the Big Ten needs to step in now. Pam Mills, what's up, Pam? Good to see you. She says, I feel like they should take their Big Ten titles away for the past 2 years. Billy says, if it were the Buckeyes, my Saturdays in the fall would be freed up. Ryan Day's Beard brings up a good point. Michigan should suspend Harbaugh and try to save a little bit of face. They do claim to be, much higher, much more superior men than everyone else, right? So this would be an opportunity to show the world that. Odysseus says, I hope they lose out. Cheaterines. That's a stretch.
I'm fine with Harbaugh getting whacked or whatever, but this investigation needs to go on, and it's tough for me. I mean, to believe that Harbaugh didn't know on some level, kind of like he didn't want to know. Like, hey, I'm not looking over there because I know what the fuck's going on. So I don't really know, but I kind of know, but I don't officially know. But somebody did, and somebody does, and those people are the ones that really need held accountable as well, and possibly kept from coaching if they're affecting the integrity of the game, kept from coaching in the NCAA for multiple years, like Jim Tressel was, for nothing close to this.
exactly. Yeah, running through the rest of the chat here. Ryan Days Beard says those players will slob Harbaugh's knob, whether he's guilty or not. McCarthy will wear his free Harbaugh shirt again. Yeah, he can reuse that. That's a good thing. Hope he kept that. Travis, the manifesto is like a 600-page, manifesto. It's like a big document of his master plan of how to, I don't know, do something, how to get into coaching or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's that kind of manifesto, like, militia type stuff. Billy says, I wish Sparty had refused to play last week like they initially indicated. Yeah.
So do they. 49-0 at home.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, they should not.
Why didn't we just do what we said we were going to do? Damn it.
That would have nuked this whole
Right.
conversation. This thing would be on steroids.
That would have
Sparty saved their
escalated.
ass.
Yeah, it would have escalated things quickly. Helmet. Everybody's agreeing that helmet radios in the helmets need to be legalized as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's the bottom line here. This will probably this might be the thing that we needed to institute that rule change. But it's pretty much minor league pro football. Let's just put the headset. Now you have just the quarterback repeating the play to 10 other guys. You don't have 11 guys looking to the sideline from getting a signal from 5 different people. They're just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see like 4 or 5 different people throwing in a signal. Running backs are looking at one guy. Receivers probably looking at another. O-line's looking at another. Let's just, limit the possibilities for all of this and mistakes to be made by the guy giving signals. And put it in the headset. Let the quarterback just do it. I can't imagine whatever the 130-something Division I head coaches. I can't imagine more than 2, maybe not even any, declining that idea. I mean, it just seems way more effective. Hopefully this maybe pushes that rule come forward.
And PC brings up another good point in the chat. He says, don't forget, they would still be doing it if they had not gotten caught. They had tickets to the Ohio State Penn State game on both sides.
Oh yeah.
Both sides
a Michigan fan who's a good friend of mine said, what, they didn't see us at the Penn State High State game. I said, well, because all the shit came down. The shit hit the fan.
He was
prior
suspended.
to the game.
The tickets were bought though. The tickets
Yeah,
were bought.
Exactly. Yes.
Tickets are. I wonder they're going to go be able to find tickets in advance. I'm sure there's other games where tickets have already been purchased, and this is definitely a sprawling, conspiracy. And under the rules of the law, it's very well coordinated, pretty brazen to be doing this. They just didn't know how to cover all their tracks well enough, but it's pretty widespread as far as the involvement in it. There's definitely staffers involved. There's definitely coaches involved.
And it's funded. It has to be funded by the university. I mean, all we have to do is connect that dot, right? I mean, and that seems pretty easy. There has to be electronic, communication there, whether it's an email that you turn in your expense report. This guy did not have the money to do this.
Unless it's a booster, like I said, hey.
Possibly he could have been funded by the outside, but if he's a staffer, why wouldn't you just write it off? Like everything
travel
else,
expenses,
just like a lunch. Yeah.
It's you definitely have to weigh and obviously because the head coach, these guys make $8-10 million a year. They need to fall on the sword for this. Now it's even if Harbaugh, like you said, Sean, it's kind of don't tell me all. I don't need to know all the details. Just let me know how everything goes. Yes, he needs to take the hardest hammer, but the guys whoever, and you'll never get to this unless you get that whistleblower from inside the program, PC was kind of saying, offer somebody amnesty, kind of like with the Astros in baseball. They let the players, hey, none of you will face any punishments, but tell us what happened. And the players came out and explained their system of stealing signs. So
we have the actual whistleblower, but we don't have. He's not inside the program.
Right. I mean about the guy that implemented it, the guy that coordinated it, because this guy's being told where to go, what to do, what to look for. It's not like he's just coming up with what he thinks is what he thinks the staff wants to see. He's being told, how to do what to do.
Maybe. I don't, I
Yeah, it
wouldn't
has
rule
to be.
out the fact that he went rogue on this one either. And then, delivered the information just on his own accord. That's possible, I think.
And they said, we like your information so much, we want you right beside us during the game.
Yeah. You're right most of the time, no matter how you got
At
this
some
info.
point, isn't your boss saying, "How you doing this?"
You would
Pretty
think,
easy.
but then,
And who the fuck is this guy standing next to you?
yeah, exactly.
Coach Harbaugh's walking up and down the sideline. He's like, who the fuck are you? Excuse me?
It's
Why
like
are
he's
you on
tripping
his
over
shoulder?
this guy up and down the sideline and doesn't even know what he does.
Right.
Yeah.
He's 6 feet away from Harbaugh,
And the D coordinator's like, that's my guy. Hold on, just leave him alone. And he's like, oh, okay, it's your guy. What the fuck? I mean, it is pretty blatant, with the network. Maybe you put, but the NCAA has no subpoena power, so they can't start putting the screws to the other people that this Stallions guy was using at some of these games. The other people that were going in, sitting in those seats, because he wasn't the only one. But the NCAA can't really go after them. They can ask to talk to him, and those people can all say, no, they gave us hush money. I don't have to say shit to you. So you're not likely you'll get information from them. But I mean, there's enough people. You put that whole coaching staff, the whole outside of just the coaches. You know how big these staffs are with the GAs and all the analysts that aren't allowed to be on the sidelines either. But there's so many people involved in this program. You're looking at 50 to 75 probably.
Well, you know what?
Including the coaching staff.
Harbaugh was also desperate. Harbaugh was about to be fired. Would Harbaugh be desperate enough to know and not care and say, "Look, I'm about to get fired. Nobody in the NFL wants me."
It coincides right when his pay cut. I'm right. I mean, that's what what broke this open was coming off the pay cut year. He came back, instant success. Money comes back to the account. All good with the administration. Ta-da!
Mm-hmm.
The timing of it, along with all the allegations, it's damning. It
Correlation is not causation, but
blase.
Yeah, Frank in the chat says suspend the players. He's adamant about that because they benefited from it this year. I don't know about that. It seems
I don't think
if you're suspending the players, if you suspend the players, you might as well just disqualify them, because you can't say, well, these guys were on the field when this was being going on and these guys weren't, so these guys can play. So now you're going to be playing just a freshman, and you're not going to be able to differentiate which players would deserve to be suspended versus others. You might as well, if you're going that route, you got to just say no.
Then you're nuking the program.
Yeah, you're forfeiting. It's just a forfeit.
Yeah,
you're forfeiting the next. You're forfeiting the next 2 games. You have a 2-game and a random amount of games, whatever it would be. You guys have, that we found you guilty of this, and this. There's insurmountable proof. You're forfeiting the remainder of the season. The next 2 games, 4 games, whatever it is. You just nuking it, and then they're out. Then they would be out of. Then the CFP would be like, oh, cool. Well, we don't have to do that. And I would say like the Big Ten, nuking them. That would be the only way it could be done. Because then the CFP is like, oh, well, we don't have to say shit now, because obviously they're not going to make the playoffs because they're, they had to forfeit 4 games. That's 4 losses. Now we don't have to come up with any type of decision on our hands. That's what it would take. The Big Ten to come in and say, yeah, Michigan, we found you guilty of this. You're forfeiting whatever amount. And you coaches, and we're suspending these coaches, or suspending your suspensions for the head coaches this much, offensive defense coordinators this much, but whatever. Can we, was that going to happen? I really would love to get revenge on them, and be able to play them and win this year. But I don't know. I'd also like to see them embarrassed not onto
Sure.
that level. So
Running through the chat here, we had a Michigan guy come in talking all kinds of crazy noise, and he's been removed, escorted out by the bouncers.
is he saying that we were under investigation for the same thing? Because I looked at that Die Hard Sports
No.
article that I showed you guys last night. But that article says nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
just
there's no type of
clickbait.
proof, no type of anything. I don't even know where Die Hard Sports comes from. I'd never heard of it before.
That's made up.
Yeah, it's just an article. Ohio State's being investigated for the same thing, and that's pretty much all it says.
Sorry,
And,
I was a little slow on bouncing that guy, folks. Billy asked me to block him a while back. Sorry. Let's see what else we got here. Pam says that they should be kept out of the playoffs for 2 years. We got back and forth with this guy. Yeah, people are trying to draw correlations to something else. Ray's in the chat. What's up? He said Shiano started hollering something wasn't right multiple times. He did. That halftime interview. Not sure I'd call him the whistleblower necessarily, but he definitely opened people's eyes a little bit.
Up here on Michigan boards, they all think it's OSU Ryan Day because we're afraid to play him, and they're so scary.
Yeah. Tyler points out the fact that he's retired Army. He's not getting the money you think he is, referring to the Stallions guy. So yeah, that again goes back to somebody had to be funding this.
well, it's not Army either. It's Marines.
Well, I don't. I
Right,
mean,
but the
you
point
don't get a
is-
retirement after 4 years, do you?
The point is that the guy's not living on the Stallions guy is not living on his military retirement. And again, he's only making
No, of course not.
$55K from Michigan. So,
That's what they have on the books. They have on the books as him making 55, plus expenses, and your expenses are, hey, just text so and so what you need, and it'll be funneled to you somehow without the bookkeeping aspect of a normal corporation's expense report. Sean, how many expense reports have you filled out in your life? You never had a guy say, hey, for that other stuff you wanted, hold on, don't put that on the expense report. I'll have an envelope for you,
Well,
here
there
later.
was one job way back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Odysseus is saying
55 a
Sam
year,
Webb.
who knows?
Yeah, Scam Webb is leading the charge on the Ryan Day narrative. Odysseus says. Billy says that Michigan's not going to make the playoffs in the next couple of years, whether they're banned or not. With the tough schedule they got coming up, I don't know. They if JJ goes to the NFL this year, I agree with you, Billy. They're definitely in trouble. Ryan Day's
And as of right now, we have to believe he will. I mean, we have to. He's the leading candidate for the Heisman right now. I would imagine pro scouts would be giving him a first round grade. I've had to guess.
I don't know where I'd place him in the top, quarterbacks coming out without thinking about it. I guess you got Penix, Bo Nix.
You know how I feel about it.
Joe, I would say right now, I bet he would be looking at the third quarterback behind Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Oh yeah, Caleb Williams.
I mean, they'll do all the scouting and all that stuff, and all those people will put in their 2 cents. But I think he's considered right now probably more of a pro prospect than Penix or Bo Nix.
Yeah.
But there's some of the good quarterbacks out there as well.
1 overall.
No, that's aggressive.
Well, no, I mean Drake May. I think Drake May would be the first quarterback taken. But Caleb Williams and Drake May have been considered going into this year top 2 quarterback prospects. McCarthy was thought of, but he was. I think there was one projection last year, right after the draft, they do a mock next year's draft, and they had McCarthy going in the first round at last year's draft. I mean, a year out, they had him projected going in the first round as like to tell you the third or fourth quarterback. I don't think that's changed at all. So you're right, Joe. I think he is. I think he most likely is leaving, especially if any type of penalty comes down from this. For sure, he's leaving.
Harbaugh's leaving. Harbaugh's guy.
Yeah,
Well, and
that's
who's
for
it?
sure.
And they got a stud quarterback that's Michigan fans are super pumped about. I forget his name. But you know, they're super hyped about as far as the next guy coming in for him. I'll say he's number 10.
He ain't McCarthy.
Well,
That's what I threw down on him.
CBSSports.com has JJ McCarthy right now an overall rank of number 19. So I guess that means all positions
overall,
included. They got Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is number 1. Drake May, number 5. So yeah, it's all positions.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
19.
He's
Shedeur Sanders, 18.
He's not done yet.
They got Penix at 65. Right. They're not. None of these guys are done yet. So there's still time for them to move up or down the boards.
I don't know why you got Caleb Williams at number 1.
I don't know either, man. I'm not on
He
board with that
basically lost
program.
that game.
2 games.
You know how that goes.
We got one question we need to end the show on, and we're going to go round the robin. Randy's Beard asks what's going to happen here? What's the end result? Is the Big Ten going to step in, or is this going to drag on? So let's start with Sean. Let's start with you. How do you think this proves out?
I would love to say that it gets done this week. It's their bye week. It would be a perfect time for something to happen, and they could wrap their mind around it and get on with their season and get on with their lives. And we all could as college football fans. It's kind of fun for a little bit, but it's getting a bit old. I'm really hopeful that the Big Ten does something this week. We'll see. That being said, no, I think it'll drag on. These guys never do anything right.
Yeah. You think we have okay, so let's put a deadline to it. By the end of the regular season, so about 4 weeks from now, you think we have an answer?
Partial, not a final answer. No, I don't think we'll have a final answer.
Jeff, what do you think? How do you think this shakes out?
I don't think there's any punishment levied before the end of the year. I've had to guess. I think because we're still at the point where more information is coming almost daily. Those guys at ESPN, Thamel, and those guys, there's still more stuff is coming out. I probably 4 or 5 different days we've gotten updates or more information. I think before they talk about forfeiting games, all that kind of stuff, because you're dealing with one of the top teams in the country, undefeated, headed towards the playoffs. No, they're going to make sure that 100%. Plus, they still have to gather all the information and then make a decision. I don't see it happening before the end of the year. No, I think we go in, we play them the last game of the season with Big Ten championship game on the line and possible CFP positioning on the line. There'll be a cloud. The cloud will carry, and I don't think with the information the information that has come in so far, I think they're still gonna be investigating and trying to get nailed down proof. And I don't think it happens before we play them.
Yeah, 4 weeks is really aggressive for any investigation in college sports. Whether it's the Big Ten, NCAA, doesn't matter. CFP, I honestly don't think the CFP committee, unless some bombshell happens, I don't think the playoff committee.
They're going to rank who's in front of them. Yeah, they're going to rank who's in front of them.
They're not going to blink an eye at this. Here's a little story just released. Michigan State investigation finds Mel Tucker sexually harassed Brenda Tracy.
I thought we knew that. He's already been fired.
It's official. It's official.
Anyway. Well, they're making fun. They're like they call it the blue wall up here. At least one of the guys does, and It's like the Freep and Detroit Free Press. Like you
Yeah.
go on their stuff, they don't write a word about it. They're just like they're such
Nice.
slappies for Michigan. Like you go on there and it's something bad about Michigan State. Like two chairmen were arguing at the board meeting.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're all at kind of agreement that we don't see this coming to an end anytime soon. Definitely not by the end of the season. So that's fine. But maybe, I don't know.
And obviously
Right.
us
Into the
having to play them
calendar
still. Yeah, maybe, something could be levied in between that gap of end of the Big Ten championship and start of the playoffs. Those couple weeks. But yeah, you're right. Nothing's gonna happen now, I don't think. But I think penalties could come real heavy if they don't make a decision by the end of the season. If it's after
Yeah.
the season, I think penalties could come heavy as far as show cause and all that type of stuff, suspensions.
That compliance department, jeez.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, and their stubbornness of they're not gonna like how the famous words, we are cooperating with the NCAA's investigations. I don't think Michigan is. Nothing's come out from the university regarding this. I haven't heard any statements from the university's athletic department.
Right. Yeah, they suspended Stallions with pay. They released a statement that we hold our something about our athletics in high regard and sportsmanship and all that crap are a priority, whatever. But yeah, the one thing I don't want to get into this today because it's a whole other show probably is the recruiting ramifications. We've had a couple questions in the chat about that. Again, you don't know. I mean, Harbaugh has weathered the storm of interviewing for NFL jobs on signing day of all things.
Yeah.
So he's survived that and still brought in top 10 classes, maybe not, top 3 or top 5, but
schools will use it. I mean, they'll use it. Look,
Sure.
the school, you might be looking at a 2-year bowl ban going into school. They're going to use it, but how much will it affect them? They might. I mean, there might be a guy or two that wavers and says, well, all things being equal, it's Notre Dame and Michigan, say they're down to those 2 schools. Let's just go with the safe bet and I'll just commit to Notre Dame. I'll change my verbal commitment. But nothing until, I don't think it'll really affect them until if penalties are handed out though, and there's bowl bans and Harbaugh is suspended, the show cause penalty or the defensive and offensive coordinators. For what I think that stuff that could definitely would affect them as far as recruitments, but probably not so much the allegations. Maybe 1 or 2 guys that are really on the fence.
Yeah. But if they have a bowl ban going forward or
I think it'll
postseason
hurt
ban,
considerably.
I think it will definitely.
But yeah, that definitely will. Yeah, but I mean that'd be like we all are expecting after the season, and that early signing period is in December.
Right.
So
well,
and if we don't think there's a decision or anything made by then, they're gonna get that commitment class. I think maybe minus a guy, but I think they'll hold on to their class at that early signing period.
Well, if there is a coaching change, kids can get out of their NLI, National Letter of Intent.
Yes, true.
And
yes.
then they can restart the recruiting process. They can go on as many visits as they want, officials,
Right.
and then recommit in February on the national signing day, the last day. But they can even push it past that. Remember, JT Tuimoloau waited till like July to commit.
Oh, sure.
So there's no hard and fast deadline for the recruits. I hope they don't feel pressured if there is a coaching change and they need to look around.
So we won't see the impact on recruiting until all those all the allegations are answered, decisions are made on penalties and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And, that'll probably be in the off season.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody we really want out of this class of theirs. Jordan Marshall. I mean, we've got 3 running backs coming in. He's the highest ranked guy, I think.
Yeah, the running back, yeah, we got running backs that we're happy with, right? So this guy turned his back on us from all accounts, right? I mean, he high school, the kid from he's a Cincinnati kid, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a tackle from Kansas City, Andrew Sprague. He's a 95. Jaden Davis, we're not interested in. Jordan Marshall, tight end from Bellevue, Washington. Sorry. Corner, that's a 92. So there's some 4 stars in there, maybe, but I don't know. I don't see anybody from Ohio or local that we really would go after it. Luke Hamilton plays with the Armstrong twins at was it St. Ed's?
Yeah.
Doesn't he play with them?
Yeah.
Or is it? No, it's Roebuck, Ben Roebuck. He's like a 3-star still. But Luke Hamilton's from Avon. He's a lower 4-star. So I'm not seeing a lot of guys around, the Midwest that we'd be interested in.
There weren't a whole lot of guys that we were going head to head with, as far as being 1 and 2 in people's top 5s. There wasn't a whole lot of recruits that we were battling, specifically Michigan with, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you're saying. So no, it probably won't affect as much as any advantage swinging our way. But just kind of, them, like I said, maybe the other schools around, a Michigan State, a Notre Dame, maybe those type of schools would probably benefit, from recruits. Trying to see what's going to happen as far as punishment is concerned. But not a huge impact as far as helping Ohio State. I don't think even if it comes after the season.
I wanted to share my Harbaugh cheater shirt. You can get this on the BuckeyeCast.com. I'll drop the link to it in the chat if you guys are interested. Check it out. It's on sale.
Peter, none of back.
Gift that keeps on giving, seemingly every year. So,
might be a hot item. Might be a hot item by late November.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think that it's going to grow old at any point. So please hit the like button in the chat, folks. And we got almost 100 people in here today on a Wednesday. That's very good. Great show.
Hit the like. That's
right. So, anything else before we get out the door here on an extra long show?
Yeah, no, good topic, good show. I got to bounce. Peace. See you.
All right. Later, Sean.
See ya.
All right, Jeff. I'll talk to you later. We'll be back on Friday, folks, going live, and then Sunday night, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern. So, Jeff, appreciate you for popping in.
Yeah, good to jump in, brother. Take care.
All right.
Go Bucks.
Yep. Go Bucks. All right, folks. Appreciate everybody dropping in the chat. Awesome comments. Good to hear where you guys are where you're at mentally and what you're thinking. So really appreciate it. And we'll be back Friday. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.